Welcome to the basic query as well as the reporting lunch and learn session. We're going to just go through a couple items within maintenance care to help gather data that you guys would need in the future. So, maintenance care is going to be able to provide a lot of vital information to you at a couple clicks, where some of the items can be actually searched through our query. So this is if you needed a hard copy of a work order to provide for billing, or if maybe a resident or a member of the facility is saying the work order isn't done, you just need to provide that hard copy with all the details in regards to it. Where we go through that is actually our filter bar in our task list, okay? So this is where you get to play around with the data to really hone in on what you're looking for. If you are a multi-facility license, so you have more than one, you're actually able to isolate that specific facility, okay? Your date range, this is where the data is being pulled from. So to broaden the range to pull back old ones, we can go to, let's say, November 1st for this example, to today's date. The status, this is simply going to draw from the work orders you've chosen. So if it's every single one of them, if it's ones that are just new, close, etc. Okay. Your comments, these are keywords that you're able to input, and it's going to draw from the work orders if that word is in there. I'm going to use light bulb for my example. Beneath, we have a little bit more advanced filtering. Okay. We can search a specific task number if we have that, or we can actually go through the type. Okay. So if it's an electrical work order, HVAC, general maintenance, even fire safety. Classification can be searched as well. Even different areas of the building or the facility, we can search that as well. Right down to the room number. So if I were to just enter room 205, I've got my date range set and my keywords in, okay? I'm gonna hit search. And the two work orders that I was requiring are listed below in the closed status. So simply, we can highlight by clicking the first one, holding shift, clicking the second, and right-clicking to print one per page. What this is going to do is give you all of the data within each work order. We're going to see the status is closed. You'll see the person or the tech that finished that job, even a vendor if that's assigned. We have all the notes indicating it's completed, so we can provide this to the people that need it. It's going to stack them up one on top of each other as well. But for running quick queries, your filter bar is your best bet to go to, and it simply gets right down to where you need to. Where I will transition to now is the actual reporting. Our report section is at the bottom here, right? We're going to go into the reports. Now, maintenance care has hundreds of different reports as well as customization within each one of them. What you will need to do is understand which report works best for you and what type of information you want to draw from that. We can draw asset information, dashboard. So what's on the right hand of your screen in the task list, you can have that run as a report as well. You can change the fields for that. Your scheduler or your compliance, we can run reports in regards to that, or all of your tasks. So all of the work orders in the system. I'm going to go through just a few popular reports. When I find a lot of our customers, well, actually, these are the two that are the main focus. So we'll start with our task list, and we'll go into our reports. We have our general folder, and at the bottom, our task CLS. Simply clicking will jump you into it. Now, you can see all the different types of parameters, filters, and layouts along the top. This is where you get to choose those parameters to get the data you need. Where I first start out is in the top right. We have different views. Paginated will create a page break. Continuous will make it easier to view the data on the desktop. So you can simply scroll through the data. These are live demos, so as you can see, it takes me a moment to get it going, so just bear with me. I'll go back to my task report. So as I said, we're going to go with the continuous. So then you're just going to be able to scroll through the data very easily, like so. Using your parameters, this is our first column that we like to start in. So location. If you're a multi-facility, you're going to be able to isolate that specific facility and just draw information from there. If you're a single license, you will not need to change this at all. It will just bring up that one location for you. Your start date and end date are important because, again, that's the window that the data is being drawn from. So make sure you draw. For this example, I'm going to do a monthly compliance report. So I'm going to do the month of December. So I simply click the 1st of December. I then go to my end date, and I'm going to go to the 1st of January. Okay. My task source. This is the type of work orders that I'm getting information from. Right now, I have everything. We can isolate the preventative maintenance only. So this is that compliance, or we can search by requested work orders. I'm going to go with the PMs only. Your task status. Again, you can search through closed, new, pending, whatever you'd like. I'm going to leave it to everything for now, and I'm going to simply hit submit. It's going to give me an idea of that facility and what type of work is getting done. So I had fire extinguisher inspections. I'm going to get the information if it's still new, if they're closed. I can have some notes associated with that as well. If we scroll a little bit down, you're going to get other tasks such as general maintenance. What has been done with those? Okay. If we also scroll to the right, you're going to be able to get the resolution. So how many have been solved and the time frame it took them to be completed. The filters in the middle is going to work to your advantage as well if you want to isolate specific areas of the facility, a specific task type, the vendors that you bring for these preventative maintenance. If there are compliance issues with fire extinguishers, right? We can bring that vendor in to see if they're completing the work as instructed. Even for employee reviews, we can have each maintenance tech brought up so we can maintain the brand. Our right column is our layouts, and this is where we get to introduce more information if we need to. We can group by different types. We can do area codes, area names, task status, okay? I'm going by task type right now because I just want to focus on that. The level, that is in regards to the notes associated with the work order. I'm looking at a condensed view. If you want to see absolutely everything, you can change this to a detailed view. Each one will open up. It'll give you checklists associated and notes that are in there as well. Simple, click which export you'd like it to be exported by, and it's going to automatically download for you. My suggestion is to open it up immediately, and we're going to rename this report so we know what it is. So this is my monthly compliance report. I'm going to put it onto my desktop. This is a common mistake. Sometimes it's lands in a folder that we don't actually know where it is. So make sure we select somewhere that we're going to remember where this lands. Simply saving is going to put it there, and it's going to be able to find that very easily. Where I will go next is our other popular report, and that is our asset transaction report. So if I jump into my asset folder, I simply go to the transactions and I click the one report. What this report does is has all work orders that are tied to specific pieces of equipment in your facility. If it is air conditioners, air handlers, boilers, any type of equipment you have in the system. Just like the other report, we have different parameters, filters, and layouts for you, and they can be exported in the same manner. As always, we're going to choose what facility we're at for multiple locations, or for single, we can leave that as is. The start date is that date range. Simply put, I will move mine to November 1st of 2023. So I'm going to get 2 months worth of data for this one. The source is the type of work orders you're looking at. I want to look at everything, not just preventative maintenance. And I'm going to hit submit. It's going to give me my date range data. Now the filters here is where you're isolating that equipment. You can go by room number. You can go by area, task type, task class, even the asset code. So if you simply type it in, hit submit, it's going to bring up all of this asset's work orders. As you can see, I have 12 electrical work orders with this fridge. And because it's paginated, I have a page break and it shows the one general work order I have as well. Just like before on the layouts, we can change that to different items. We can go by area code. We can go asset class or asset code. The level, just like before, we can give all the details of everything that's happened. So you have a very detailed report on each work order of that equipment. We can scroll, it shows the cost that's associated with it, how much you've spent in parts, your labor costs, and then even your duration. Now, once you find a report that you like and you are getting the information that you need, we suggest actually scheduling that report. It's simple. It will land in your email address every designated day, so you don't have to go back in here and run the same report with different parameters. What you need to do to schedule is very simple. You go to the report that you like. If it has a clock icon, you get to simply click the clock and it's going to open the schedule for you. This is where we're going to start creating the schedule and when it fires off. I start with my schedule name. We want these named something that you will remember. So for this, it's going to be my monthly compliance report. I spell everything incorrectly. I can select what type it is, if it's paginated with the page breaks or continuous. I'm going to go for paginated just so I can scroll through the pages. Your location, just like before, if it's a single location only, you don't have to change this, but multis will to isolate specific locations. Your start date and end date, this is where we create the time schedule for this report. We'll start with the start date. Simply click the calendar. We're going to go to our template section. Okay. You see a nice long list where you get to, if it's a weekly report, you can choose these. For ours, we want to do a monthly report. So I'm going to do the first day of last month as my start date. So no matter what, the next month is going to draw the previous month's information. My end date, I'm going to go through the same process. I open it up, I go to my templated section, I go to my dropdown, and I scroll to the last day of last month. I then hit OK. Your source, the submitted work orders or the preventative maintenance. Because this is a compliance report, I'm going to run PMs only. If there are any other parameters you wanted to put on this report, you fill them out as is, simply click the buttons and bring in task type, location, room, etc. Once this is sorted, we're going to go to our publish. This is where you get to choose who is receiving this report. If it's for corporate level employees that need this every month, we can add their email in here as well, managers or just yourself. You simply hit new, and the first item is you input the email address you want it sent to. I add a subject line. We want to make this easy to navigate so you can find it in your emails, right? So monthly compliance report. And then beneath, we get to choose the format. I'm going to use the PDF format. It's the default selection, but you can scroll down and choose an Excel format if needed. Once these are filled out, you hit OK. And it's now added that email in with those parameters. The final place we go is our conditions. This is where the frequency comes into play. So you get to choose the time of day or your time zone, right? And then we're going to go to our time type and select run this task periodically, because I don't want this to run every single day. I get to choose my date. So I'm going to do monthly, and I'm going to do the first day of every 12 months. Once that's filled out, I finish. It's now been submitted and it's now active. So when the first of the month arrives at 9 a.m., I will be receiving that report. You can see all your scheduled reports on the Scheduled Reports tab, and they are listed below. This is where you can run them right away. You can edit them, you can cancel them, start, stop, lots of options for you. Now, I know a lot of information has been kind of relayed here for reporting and scheduling. If anyone has any question or needs assistance scheduling these reports, we have our support line that's available Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. We also have our wiki help. This is a user guide, so available 24 hours a day. You're able to type in the reports, and it's going to give you some results where you can actually go through and get to what you need. So if it's a scheduled reports, it'll show you step by step on exactly what I just showed. But again, if you want assistance setting these up, you're actually able to contact us, our support line. But this is essentially the lunch and learn. I'm going to actually have my moderator open up the Q&A session, and then I'll go through some questions with you, okay?
All right. Hi, I'm Dino. I'll be moderating the question period. We already have plenty of them, Phil, so I'm going to read them to you. You can answer them so that everybody knows what questions
Perfect.
we're asking. Anonymous asked, if there are multiple tasks that are the same, is there any way to detect that, like duplicate requests?
Yes, there is a way. We have a duplicate setting task within the software. That would be going through your admin portal to your facilities, and that is a back-end item where you're going to be able to turn that on. Very simple, double click, and you'll be able to go through, okay?
All right. That was an easy one. The other
duplicates.
Go ahead. No, sure.
No, I was just showing it off.
Perfect. Another one from Eric. When you do print more than one task, the number is never on top of the sheet.
The task number.
Yeah, it was probably going back to when you started to do some queries and printing the tasks themselves.
Okay. So if we do a couple items, so print one per page, your task number will be at the top. Where I feel you may have gone is, let's highlight these, print list. Where that changes is the task number is actually on your far left-hand corner, but still gives you each work order, but in a more condensed summary. So those are the difference between the two. This is your task list. And then if you do it page by page, that's when it's going to be at the top of your list. Right there.
Perfect. All right. Another one from Jessica. Should it always allow you to change the location and the parameters, the area and assign to in filters? So it's two questions and all is, should it always allow you to change the location and the parameters? First question. And the second one is the area and assign to. Go ahead.
Yeah. With the way that I ran them, I was looking at all of the areas. So you can change that by clicking and isolating one area, and it'll run your query that way. The same as within the reporting, you just isolate that specific building area, and it will only generate the work orders from that area. Same. And answer the second question, you can do the exact same thing with your assigned to. You'll have your arrow here. You get to select your maintenance staff, and it will only draw those work orders for you.
Perfect. Thank you. Scott had more of a comment where he's having issues here. He says, when I click reports on the left, I get a pop-up saying embedded page at, and then there's a web address, a URL called report.maintenancecare.com, says null. Any idea why? That might be more of a support issue that we need to deal after the fact, right?
I think so. Yeah, Dino, if you can actually write his information down, and Eric will have one of our colleagues reach out to you directly and get that sorted out for you.
So, Scott, what I would suggest you do, if you can send an email to support@maintenancecare.com, copy paste what you wrote, and we will have somebody from our team to call you or reach out to you, all right? Thank you for that. Mike, is there a way multiple individuals can be grouped to a task or can be included for hours work or other metrics? We get that often.
Yes, this is a frequent question that we have. The way that we operate at the moment is a single assignment based on your assigned to, so your maintenance tech. A way that we can do this for yourself is we can actually enter other employees in as vendors and have them attached into the work order just like before through the assignment field. So I go to my assign this task. I'll have my first employee, and then through my second one, I'll be able to just search his name and add it in the vendor field. Both names will be indicated on the work order. So you'll see both of them here and have their notes associated underneath. Another way we can do this is having the first individual assign, do his portion and add up his time, and then have it assigned to the second person where they put their notes in, and then they can then go from there and add their time as well. So 2 options for you in that sense.
All right, good. Thank you for that one. Diane says, what is the realistic time for a caretaker to fill out the task form daily? I'm not sure. Does she mean a page request, or what is the task form itself? Maybe, a task form. Okay, I see what she means. Go ahead, Phil.
Can you elaborate for me?
It's probably the task form that we probably produce, for example, at a PM with if we have let's say we do a fire drill and we have a form to fill out, external URL on the task that we usually put if the client asks for it for the fire marshal. Okay. I'm guessing that's what Diane is referring to. Not sure, but it could be that one.
Yeah.
So how long does it take?
Adding, it depends on how long the checklist is. For fire extinguishers, I'll show an example of one of my preventative maintenance that I have. So I've got a fire extinguisher here, my checklist. We have that link on, so I'm able to click and it goes straight to our checklist. This could be the state's checklist where that employee goes through in real time, enters their information. But depending on how long the checklist is how long it's going to take that person to actually go through. But for mine, there's quite a few items to do. I would say it would be about 4 or 5 minutes. I can add items, and then all they do is hit submit. It will save the checklist for you. So you can either print it, download it, or if we go back to the system itself, it would actually be sit under the Documents tab.
Perfect. Thank you. Daniela, Daniela says, commenting on what Eric meant, when you select various tasks to print list, the first sheet does have the task number on the top, but the following don't. That's what she meant. So we can probably take a look at that, Daniela. Quickly.
That would be something with the support, I would feel.
Yeah, I think
that's running.
I'm going to take a note of that, and we're going to come back with some information about that because I'm not sure what needs to be done there. Martin.
My suggestion,
go ahead.
Hold on, Dino. my suggestion to that, if there is, the numbers aren't appearing at the top, go for the list view, because then you will be able to differentiate the task numbers because they're on the left. It adds everything from the work order in this list as well. It's just a summarized view of it.
All right. Let's move along. We have plenty of questions. Martin, can you include the person who put in the request in the multiple task printout as in a single task printout?
So you want to search specifically for, like, you want to include that to them?
Can you include the person? Listen, well, Martin, let me see if Martin's got more comments in there, but that's the question that he asked. I'll repeat it. Can you include the person who put in the request in the multiple task printout as in a single task printout? So if you do the multiple task printout like you did, take a list of 4 or 5, can you include the person who put in the request in that?
The way that, for the person that's submitting, for them to receive updates on said tasks, that would be through your request page. So I'll go to mine. This is, everyone has access to a request page. It's unique to their own license. The email address underneath, this is where the submitter can input their email to be updated throughout the progress. So you would see the updates with the notes with those work orders as well.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. I'll try to limit the questions to the reporting portion of it, because I'm getting a lot of questions about task management. And I think just for those who don't know, there will be another webinar this spring on task management. So, but if you have any questions or requests, like I said, you can send any request to our support at maintenancecare.com, or go on our chat, or send or call. Just call our support line, and we've got the staff to answer all of your calls and emails and chats. In the meantime, I'll try to move along with the more of the about the reporting. Perry says, how can I generate my own custom reports rather than just using the canned reports already included?
For any customized reporting that you want, you can contact our sales department, where we would then provide background on if it can be done. Like, we are able to create any customized form or report you'd like. That would come at a cost, where we would do a quoting process, depending on the level of the report would be dependent on that.
Excellent.
So if that's something that you're interested in, you can reach out to me directly.
And you can reach out to Phil at phil.boone@maintenancecare.com or genexscore.com.
Exactly.
Hani has a question. If I have more than one maintenance worker in the facility, can I find how many hours each one worked during 1 month with a report, I'm guessing?
Yes. So that first report that I showed, your task report, we go to the reports. We go to my tasks list here, general, task CLS. This is that report that has all your parameters along the top, okay? I'm going to leave it pretty generic and leave just the 7 days worth of data with everything. But in my filter column, the assigned to, I can simply grab which maintenance tech I'm looking at, and I can run the report. So I did a 7 days. You would do your month. So I'll actually do it. So December 1st. And then we're going to go to January 1st. Submit. Again, I'm going to change this to continuous so I don't have any page breaks. So I can scroll over to the right and show that in that 1 month period, me, being the model employee that I am, finished 68 tasks, and it took me approximately 30 hours and 20 minutes to get those done. This can be run for each one of your employees, so you can make sure that everyone's pulling their weight and maintaining your brand status.
Excellent. Thank you. I've got Nicholas who's asking, I think people will probably want to go back there, and I know that's It's going to probably take 5 minutes of your time, Phil, but I think it's important. He wants you to show him again how the scheduling of the report starts and goes.
Yeah, not a problem. So once you find the report that you need and like, you go to any of them. Again, I'll just do the task CLS because it is the popular one. You're going to hover over and you see the 3 icons here. Once you see the clock itself, you can simply click the clock and it opens up that schedule for you. You name it, right? Report, something that you're going to be able to search on your computer or your emails for, right? You choose if you want it paginated, page breaks. So page 1, page 2, page 3, or have it continuous. So you can just scroll all the way through them. You then go through your date ranges. So this is the parameters of the report. So I want, for this example, 1 month, my previous month's tasks. So I start with the calendar. I go to my template and I just go through and find the exact one I need. So first day of last month, hit OK. The end date, I want the data to stop at the last day of last month as well. So I go to my calendar, I go to my template, I then scroll and find last day of last month. I hit OK. I now have the date parameters. So in February, I'm going to get January's information. In March, I'll get February's, so on and so forth. Beneath, you get to choose what you're viewing. If it's every work order in the system, if it's compliance issues only, or submitted work orders only. Any other parameters you want as well. So location area, specific part of the facility, what status that task is at, all of these, okay? We then are going to go to our publish. This is who we're sending the report to. You're going to hit new and you're going to type that person's email in this field. You're going to put a subject on it as well, because when you get emails with no subject line, it's very difficult to try and find them. So I'm going to do report again. And beneath, I get to choose the format in which this document is being given to me in. Default is PDF format. We can choose Excel or text or any others beneath. Once you choose that format, you're going to hit OK. And it'll give you the email address and all of that is there. Your third and final step is the conditions. So the frequency on when you get this report. The time zone, you're going to choose your time zone, and then you're going to do the time type. So I want to run this task periodically. I only want it once a month. Okay. So I get to choose the date. I'm going to do a monthly report. I'm going to do the first day of every 12 months. Okay. So every single month, I will be getting the previous month's report.
Excellent.
I have the time that I'm getting it, and I hit finish.
Thank you. Thank you for repeating that. I think people will appreciate that. Perry is asking a question about our debt sets report and regarding reporting, and that
we will be having a debt set lunch and learn.
Yeah, we will. Actually,
time.
it's at another time. But the question is regarding reporting on the debt sets. Most people probably know what a debt set is. So debt set is. So if you could just explain to the people after I tell you what the question is about. The debt set report does not seem to pull any data, even though we use the debt set function regularly. Is there some trick to that report? Well, that seems to be yes, go ahead.
Yeah, a debt set, for people that don't know, are a designated set of questions. So you can have a forced checklist on each one of your work orders that your maintenance techs or anyone that's managing these would mandatory have to fill this checklist out. And it could be any checklist that you guys make. It could be simple question lists. It could be a checklist. It could be a table matrix. Okay. The reporting of the debt sets, there are some parameters that need to be changed, this is kind of one of those situations that I would have to get on call with you specifically and work through the issues. So I would suggest emailing into our support email, and then one of our colleagues will do a one-on-one with you to get that report you needed.
All right, good, excellent, Phil. Thank you. So Perry, yeah, like Scott did actually, because we just got his email. You can just email us, and we will dispatch this to one of our support staff to help you with the debt set reporting there. I have another one from Anonymous. This one I'm not sure about, and you can probably, I'm not sure you're going to get it, but anyway, can you explain how sending the report FTP works? I might probably need more. Go ahead.
A bit more context. Also, that seems more of my IT team's realm, just where the reports are being sent from within our system, all kind of back end. And I walked you through the scheduling twice. So that's where you're generating it all. And it's being sent from, I believe, just a maintenance care generic email. But again, that question would be better for a support email, so I can have my specific team reach out to you and answer any of those technical questions.
Thank you. I have Jessica, who's asking, do you have a set of work instructions to navigate the reports a little easier? I think you've answered that one.
Yeah. So for that, we can go to our wiki help. This is user guide for everything in the system, not just reporting. This is everything. So for reports, I would type in the word reports. I'm going to go with the reports tab because it gives you lots of different choosings on specific questions of those reports. So the task report folder, it explains all of that. It shows you how to schedule the report as well with step-by-step instructions with the pictures. So your wiki help is your best bet for the user guides. We also have a YouTube page with some videos that you can reference as well.
Thank you. Jordan, when my automatic report sends out, it sends the same email 11 times. Why?
That seems like there might be a setting issue on the actual schedule. So that would be something that you would have to go, went to the wrong section. Go to your reporting, go to your scheduled reports, right? This is where all those scheduled reports will lie. And you're going to either see 11 of the same one, and then we've isolated the issue right away. Just delete 10 of them, so you only have one. If you only see that one report, you'll have to go in and actually do the edit and see if there were that email added in 11 times. I'm thinking that it just might be the same report. Again, if there's any issues past my kind of little explanation there, reach out to us in the chat and or by email or phone call, and we'll be able to walk you through scheduling these.
Perfect. Another question that I have, Amy says, there are some graphs available in the dashboard that I'm not seeing as an option to schedule, specifically task duration by user. Is there an alternative way to schedule that report?
All of our scheduling is scheduled the same way. Let me click. You're going to have to do this one. You're not able to run a scheduled report on through your dashboard. Even your main dashboard, there's no scheduling of that. What we'll need to do is find that unique data field that you're looking to report on. We have so many different reports that I don't want to just go through and click and try and find it. This, again, reach out to us separately, and then we're going to have a specialist be able to hone in on the exact report that you need.
Perfect. Excellent. Mike is asking if the wiki help available over the app or just the desktop version.
It's available just on the desktop version, but with mobile app users, you can actually go to maintenance care, like log into the web browser through Safari and or Google Chrome and have this and then be able to access the chat.
Thank you.
via the support or wiki.
/bar from my reports in 11 by 17 size paper. Other graphs doesn't fit. Please show proper way to do it. Oh, that would be probably with the help of our support team that you might be able to do that. So I would ask Anonymous, send an email with your request, because I think that's very specific and not related to this specific webinar. So if you could do that and send it to support@maintenancecare.com again, we can help you with that, certainly. How can you use the transactions report under asset? Rebecca's asking.
So the reason you're running that report, and I think this is what the question is, the reason you run an asset transaction report is to understand what type or how many work orders are being conducted with specific pieces of equipment. Now, you can tie preventative maintenance to equipment as well. So these are compliance issues. When you run the asset transaction report, it's going to bring up those work orders so you can make sure that you are compliant if that's the issue, or you can kind of go through every work order that's been completed on it, just going through your transaction.
All right.
So you just use the specific code of the specific asset you're looking for. And I only have 1 week's worth of data, so it's only drawn my one work order to it. If I were to switch it to something else, it would show more work orders as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. I've got Jordan who's asking, my general task report is only generating work orders that I have created. I need to see all form from the entire system.
Okay. So what we need to change in your case is you're only looking at submitted work orders. You're not looking at everything. So that comes from your task source column, right? I have all PMs or work orders only. You need to have all selected to bring all work orders into the data range. As such. So it's bringing up everything for me.
All right. Let me get to some questions. I know that some people are saying you seem to be skipping some questions here. Like I said previously, all questions that are not report related, we can answer after. But I'll try to do my best to find some that might be related to. So be patient with me, because there's a lot of them that are not related to report management, and this webinar is specifically for report management. So bear with me. I know that you went through a fire checklist, and that seems to be intriguing for a lot of people. So maybe, and Greg asks for that one. He's asking if that's part of the program. Can we provide that fire checklist to all?
Yes. There are some forms at everyone's disposal. Where you're going to go for those, we're going to go to our wiki help again. We simply type in forms right at the top here. We're going to have an example of what these forms are. It goes through step by step and where it's attached. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, we have our generic forms located. Okay. So we've got power generator, vehicle inspection, right? Many different ones at your disposal. What you would need to do is highlight this URL. Okay. And once you are in the system, you're going to go to your scheduler. You go to that specific preventative maintenance, okay? Under the other tab, document URL. You're going to paste that link into here, and that is what appears on your work order. So I will go to show you what that looks like. Specific fire extinguisher, right? I have the title there, the checklist beneath. Other has my link right there. So when that is clicked, I go to the work order itself, we'll go to the fire extinguisher. Okay. Here's the external link right to that fire extinguisher checklist. If there's any problems loading that in or we're having some issues, again, reach out into the chat and or email, give us a call. Something very easy to set up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Nathaniel is asking me, when I click on task.cls, it opens a new page in a new window. How do I make it open a new tab instead?
That is an excellent question. I don't have the answer to. Even on mine, it opens in a new window field because it's going to be coming in as a search engine. So I'm going to address that with my IT team and I can contact you and see. Normally you'd be able to drag and drop it into your tabs at the top, but I feel because of the report and how it's set up, it's going to open as an extra window.
Okay, good. All right. So maybe the person that asked that question, if she can or he can send a request through the support at maintenancecare.com, we can probably check that out and come back to you with a definite answer and try to settle that issue for you. Stuart asks, will you be emailing this recording? Yes, because a lot of people registered, and you were some of the a quarter of those that were lucky to get in. We are producing a recording of this, and you will be able to get a recording should you want to. I would suggest you send an email at support@maintenancecare.com, and we will make sure that you get a copy of this recording. In the meantime, like I think Phil said when he started, for those who weren't there, we will be repeating this one on reporting because it's been so popular, probably sometime in February. And Susan, let's hope, will be feeling better and will be the one leading, or Phil, who's doing a pretty good job. So let's see. And then after that, we've got a schedule that will come out for different subject matters. Will be task management. We have one on CareClean for those who have the software. We have others on, well, there's plenty of them coming throughout 2024. So I'm looking if we've gotten any more questions related specifically to reporting. I don't think I've missed any. Let me take a look. Like I said, those who have asked questions about the software itself, please send your emails through the support email address. We'll answer them. I prefer to have this be concentrating on the report portion of it. Let me see. I've got, I think, let me see. I've got probably, Rachel is asking, and I hope it's somewhat related. If we keep documents binders of fire drills, extinguisher reports, do we still need to input that into the PM? We just close the task as complete once we complete our checks. It's not related, but it's, go ahead.
It's a good point to bring up. What maintenance care allows you to do, it is a database. So it's only good with the information that's being input into the system. So if, for example, fire extinguishers are a compliance issue for everyone, correct? State regulatory, provincial regulatory, depending on where you are from. If you don't have the checklist attached to the work order itself, that's somewhere else that you would have to search, okay? We can use the filters to just bring up our fire extinguishers very easily. So if the fire marshal comes in and asks you to spell extinguisher, hopefully you can do that. But you'll be able to bring in all the ones that have been completed, make sure that these ones obviously are done before the audit happens, so you can maybe prioritize them. But having it as a database like this, I can simply just double click the work or the preventative maintenance. I see that it's done, right? The exact same manner that you're doing right now. But under my documents, the checklist is there. So I don't have to go rifling between a file folder trying to find it. It's all just right here.
All right. Good. All right, Phil, I've got two more questions before we end this.
Okay.
Brandon is asking,
Yep.
can we do billing reports, please, via charges on a work order? Can
Via
we do
charges
a
of
billing
work order.
reports via the charges on a work order? Let's say I'm not sure we can do that one.
Yeah,
We
so
can?
what
Go
I
ahead.
would suggest, instead of running a report, like I said at the beginning of the Lunch and Learn, some items are not a reportable item that you would think. Some are just simple query. So and correct me if I'm wrong, this seems a query kind of field, so we can use the filters to get to that specific work order you're talking about. So let's say change the filter. I just wanted to make sure that I had some items on there. Perfect. So if you just print this page, right, if it's a specific work order, you're going to have all of the amounts added in here so that you're going to be able to run that. So it shows the task is completed. In this case, it's just impending, but all your charges will be listed here for then you to then bill that customer or that person, that resident, whichever it is. That would be more of a query. And if it's more than one, like I said, you can kind of add more than one to your field. Print per page. You'll get those costs as well.
Thank you. Last one. I know that Roblin's asking me. It's not related, but I think we will address this. Can you upload before and after pictures? I'm guessing on a task.
Yes, of course. So, few options. If you're using the mobile app, you can simply click the work order itself. At the top of the screen, it has the Documents tab. You can click the docs. There's the camera in the top right where you're able to take the picture. The second option for you is through the request page link. We have the add files at the bottom. You can have that picture uploaded at the beginning phase. So this is where you're entering all your work order information on where everything is, what the issue is, right? And we can add a file simply there. Your third option would be if the work order is input into the system already, I can simply go to it. I can go to my Documents tab. I can then add the file from here. My before picture, and then I can add the after picture from the mobile app doing the same process I said, or doing it this way as well.
All right. Thank you, Phil. We're going to end this there. Andrew is just asking at the end, are we going to do a webinar on all of the software and not just on the reports side? This is more so a demo of the software. And in this case, Andrew, if you need some guidance there, you can just send us an email, and I'm pretty sure one of our product specialists will be able to help you. All right. And Daniela, how do you go to the request portal? You can send an email, and we'll have someone show it to you because you probably have a request page linked to your account. All right. Thank you. Thank you all for your. Well, go ahead, Phil.
I can show her very quickly if she has access to her admin. Go to your facilities. You double click the facility you're looking for. Again, if you have multiple, the list will be there. One license will just be one line. You double click under the web settings. Your request URL is right here. So you're just going to highlight that, and then you can send it out to all the staff in the building so that they can enter requests from there.
All right. But thank you all. Yeah. Thank you, Phil. Great job. And be on the watch for, if you've asked for the link to the video, the copy of the video, we'll be sending it to you, the recording. And if not, check out our future newsletter, with the next webinars that are going to come up throughout the year. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of the lunch period, and enjoy the rest of the day and the week. Thank you.